Okay, so I didn't go over like what happened like 2 weeks ago. So I figured that while I was thinking about it, I'll just tell you guys now. All right, so I keep looking over here again, and I gotta look over here because I forget that I shoot all my content on an iPhone, and I've got to look in the correct position when I'm formatting in this type of way. So first, my dog wants up, so he can go terrorize the pillows over there. But either way, I didn't tell you that I met a psychic, and the psychic told me that, my voice and my aura, that I am just magnetic. And I get this a lot, actually. So this video is going to be all about my magnetic energy. But no, what really, I guess, made my voice so powerful over the last couple years, and how you can use what I've learned over the last couple years and projecting it into you, into your voice, and the way you show up for yourself in the world and for others. All right, so it's not going to be super long or anything like that. I'm going to try to just cut to the chase and just give you the highlights or the key points. But I am going to like lead you on the story with a psychic, right? So talk with a psychic. Her name is Dale Shear, and I talked to her on a podcast. I can't remember the podcast name, unfortunately, but I'll let you listen to it right here on what she told me. So I will cut to B-roll right now, and you can listen to what she said. Okay, so now that I added that in, hopefully that we got that all straightened out, you got to listen to what she told me. And like I said, again, a lot of people tell me this, and I will cut to another B-roll now so you can see what I mean on what a lot of people tell me. And I'll even put some little things here on showing you some messages I get that also go over this. So the messages will show now, right here. And this is the stuff I get that people tell me, okay? And I get this over and over and over again, especially when I put new content out, and I'm more like, showing up for people, because I get into these cycles that I like push, 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 and then I like scale back because I burn myself out. I literally burn myself out. But this is what I get. And this is what people actually send me too. So I'll cut to that now so we can like go through that, and hopefully you'll get the idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, so hopefully you got to see all those and just really like it resonated with you on what I'm trying to portray in this video. All right, so again, Dale Shear, you saw, and then all those testimonials and everything, they all told me that I have a magnetic energy, and I need to basically embrace that. And even before all those testimonials and everything, when I started showing up more on social media, or even when I started showing up in social media in general, because I didn't have social media before 2018, other than the fact that I posted some random photos like every, I would say, 6 months to 8 months to a year to 2 years of like me and my kids or something, but it wasn't like a real social media type thing. I never like interacted with people. I never tried to like hook up with people or anything like that. So when I started showing up to social media, I was in a weird place in my life. I was going through a separation, and my whole life was just like put on hold. I guess you could say. I was supposed to go to Europe, literally like a week after I got separated. And that was planned for a whole year, set up my whole life, my kids' schedules, everything. I learned how to speak French and like all this stuff I've planned. I bought stuff for the trip. I bought stuff for the kids for the trip, and we didn't go. I ended up getting separated a week before we left, or we're supposed to go, and it was supposed to be for my daughter's birthday too. So literally on her, let's see, she's 11 now, so that was in 2018, 19, 20, 21. 22, 4 years ago. So she was 9, not even 9, 10, 11, 12. No, she was 6, 8, 9, 10. So 6, 7. She was like 7. I would get like 7. So yeah, for her birthday, we were going to go to France, and instead my husband left. So he left, and I was separated, and my whole world was just like, okay, what the heck just happened? And then just to close up on that, so you're not like messaging me like crazy and like, what happened? What happened next? You're going to have to watch more of my videos, obviously, to know my whole story and to have some more backstory on all that, on what led up to that, what led up to everything like wrong with my marriage, and the fact that, that wasn't the first time, I guess, that I wouldn't say we talked about separation, but that I was just like, okay, well, this is actually happening. I didn't take this step, but he did, which is awesome. But either way, we're gonna leave that for another whole video. Or you're just gonna learn it following my journey anyways. But that's where it all started, where I found my voice. And I have a whole like challenge that I did with, a couple years ago on helping people find their voice, and hopefully we'll be able to bring that back soon. It's just been super busy with everything else, but it's really the starting point in everything, on me speaking out and not being afraid and not feeling like judged and not feeling like I'm weird or that, I don't know what I'm talking about or anything else that in my terrible relationship with my spouse and my business partner would always tell me I am. Like, that I talk too much, that, my opinion didn't matter, that, that I didn't know what I was talking about, that, nobody wants to hear me. Like, he doesn't care. Nobody cares. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares for me. All this stuff that was just leaching into me. And it was really not believing in myself. Like, I have a very strong belief in myself. So for my thing, every time he said that, my inner voice, my true inner power would always tell me that, Amina, just because everybody thinks of you this way, or they might think this of you, you're okay because you're strong. You're okay because you believe in yourself. Just keep believing in yourself. And that's what I kept hearing. That's what I kept telling myself, is just keep believing in yourself. You don't need anybody else's approval. You don't need your husband's approval. You don't need your kids' approval. You don't need nobody else's approval on, just being you and talking to yourself. And so I would basically spend a lot of time by myself and do my artwork and like hang out with my kids and be more myself when I wasn't at home, like around other things that we did, like in the community, volunteering and all that. But then even then, when I was volunteering and doing that stuff, I still didn't feel like I could speak up or had a voice, like I didn't matter. And that was literally just leaching out because of my relationship and, even how I was raised. Like I was the only child in the household. My parents worked literally 24/7. They were entrepreneurs too. They still are. And so at the end of the day, they didn't want to hear me talking. So it would be like, Amanda, go to your room or go play outside. So I didn't have a voice in my house for many, 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 many years. And even my kids didn't, because by the time I had kids, it was always my husband doing the talking. It was always him that would always get mad at me for talking or talking over him, he would say, or like suggesting my opinion. At any time that would be a conversation between the kids and me, or my kids, me and him, then he would have to take the lead in the conversation, and he would make that very clear that it was between him and our kids, and I need to butt myself out of it. So that wasn't the what usually happened day to day, meaning that was probably only a very small part of their relationship with their father. Luckily, that was only around like dinner time. The rest of the day, like the mornings and the weekends, he wouldn't be around. He would be off doing his own life. While I managed everything in business and in personal. And so that gave me like the rest of the time, like I would say 90% of the time, just with me and my kids, and to be myself, like to actually like sing and dance. And we had dance parties when he wasn't here, and we got to like go places that he didn't want to go. And that's how I like truly like lived my life for a long time, for 20 years. And I just thought, I guess this is the way it always is, because, that's the way that I saw other people living in their relationships. that were around me. You're my influences, you could say, my parents, my aunts and uncles that were still married or that their spouse was still alive. You know, they seemed to have the same life where it was just like the wife just did her thing, the husband just did his thing. They just kind of just like lived together and that was it. You know, they cared for each other on the aspect of they were building a life together, but you know, essentially that was it. And they just had some kids and on with life. It wasn't until 2018, you know, when I started just doing the videos for myself on, you know, putting my voice out there, you know, doing goal setting, personal development videos, and really just striving to be my better self. And then discovering Grant Cardone, discovering Jim Rohn, discovering old Zig Ziglar tapes that I was really motivated back when I was much younger in my early teens. And really just discovering that's I'm really passionate for this. And even if nobody was listening, I was doing it for myself. So I started recording lives and started using my voice in recording those lives. And I was getting positive feedback and people were like messaging me and asking me my advice. And it really resonated with them. And so that made me look at myself in a whole new way. Even when I went to my doctor's appointments and I was like more engaging with a lot of people because I was going through a lot, personally, emotionally, and financially, definitely in my separation. I lost all my money. I didn't have access to it. So, you know, to relieve a lot of that pressure and stress, I would tell people a little bit about what's going on and the challenges I had. You know, when I went to the doctor's office or when I would pay my beg people to pay my bills late or and things like that. And they would relate too because they had similar stories of divorce and separation and even challenges of like maybe their parents got divorced or they were you know, they were taken to like a what was it called, like a home for kids, an orphanage when they were very young. And so I could relate now onto that level with these people. Before I wouldn't have had that experience and I couldn't relate on that level. But so they really connected with me and it was all through the power of my voice and my story. And then I just got more and more comfortable with that. In 2019, I like didn't, well, okay, let's go back a little bit before we go forward. And the rest of 2018, I really didn't like go at all on social media. So the beginning of 2018, I started doing these videos and they weren't like structured. They were just mostly just talking and just showing my life. And then I basically just didn't get on social media at all because I ended up getting back together with my separated, I don't even want to call him my husband because he doesn't even deserve that title, honestly. And it's not because of like a normal divorce type thing where it's like, oh, he cheated and everything else. It is so beyond that, guys, that one day or maybe, you know, in the progression of my videos, you'll know a lot more. But the person or the thing or what the entity that I thought was a person that cared and that had values and stuff, you know, that I was with. Now I lost my train of thought because now I was just so stuck on that last thought I had. But either way, so during the rest of 2018, I ended up trying to work it out. It was all one-sided. And realizing that none of our values lined up, nothing was actually like the way I thought it was like before. I wasn't the same person anymore. I didn't see him as the same person anymore. And it was a very big power struggle. Like I could feel it intensely, the vibration and everything. And I kept thinking like, why am I with this person? So a little bit of like thing here, this might be a trigger warning for a lot of you here. He was already physically and mentally abusive. Okay. And I realized that definitely my whole relationship with him. But during the course of when I moved in with him when I was 19, I was already going through some abuse with my ex-partner at the time and then my living conditions. So it was a way for me to, I guess, escape that, but I didn't really escape it. It was just a different type of abuse, but it did escalate over our relationship. So anyhow, I do want to put that in there to give you some context on what I mean by, you know, it's not like a normal divorce. All right. So And there's no normal divorce, by the way. Anyways, so, got back together for a while on 2018, 2019. Started all over again. It was literally like the same. I was on Groundhog's Day, about the same month, same thing happened. Different woman, different thing, but now it was so much more involved in everything that we set up for those like 8 months. Like we scheduled another trip to France, paid a ton of money to like set up like all this stuff for the kids to go, and we booked this like beautiful house, and we paid, like I said, a lot of money. And I did more French classes, and we were gonna like do this all over again. And it literally was like Groundhog's Day, just before, a couple of weeks before, it all fell apart again. And so at that point, I already bought more buildings with him. We were full-time investment, real estate, full investors in real estate. And I bought a house with him. And I basically put all my money into these big projects. And again, I lost everything. so it was definitely like what the F moment for me on multiple levels. And not only that, I literally could have died in 2008 and 19. So I had a protection order against him for 6 months. They didn't renew it. That's a whole other video on how messed up that the court system is. But you get the idea. It kept escalating. And then luckily I was in a safe spot at that time. I decided I was out. I was totally out. There's whatever happens here on out. It comes after me, or, I lose like literally everything as long as I have my kids and my pets with me, which I did. At least I had some of my pets. I didn't have all my pets with me. But I was in a safe spot that I told him never again. And I was totally safe, and there was no way he could get to me. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to start putting more videos out on, encouraging others to use their voice and to speak up, and make this like developmental like series on my Facebook. Because Facebook is the only thing I knew. I didn't really know YouTube. I knew a little bit of it, but not at the point that I didn't have any followers on YouTube. And I didn't really even know how to speak to anybody, like, and they would show up. Like, I didn't know how to tag something like that. So I just started like this personal development course on my Facebook. And that's all it was. It wasn't so much like complaining, or it wasn't so much about my separation or divorce or all the trauma and everything I was going through, or my kids were going through, and my, my relationship with an abusive partner or anything, because I couldn't even talk about that at that time. Like, not even close. Like, everything I just told you, I wouldn't even be able to tell you. Like, because I was so like embarrassed. And not only that, but I couldn't rationalize how I could have been with somebody that long, or even like been okay with it. So it was embarrassing, and on multiple levels. And then not only that I felt very weak because I couldn't stand up before. So I just did a whole bunch of personal videos, like encouragement videos. And then every now and then I would do like a plead video where I was like, hey, listen, my electricity's out. My ex-husband turned off the electricity, and I just wanted to let you know, because I'm not feeling safe right now. I'm at home. I'm going to take this video down in 24 hours. So I did a couple of those because I was really vulnerable, and I didn't know how to basically reach out to people and just leave them basically like a cliff note. So I did it right on my Facebook. So I figured, if anything did happen to me, at least there was some evidence somewhere. But I got through all that, luckily. It was a challenge, definitely. And I just kept getting more and more comfortable showing up on lives, and, inviting other people that had really terrible life experience happen even like a couple years ago to when they were a child. Come on. And I made a podcast out of that. And that series is actually called Message of Hope, Stories from Struggle to Success. And you can actually still listen to it on amina.fm, and you can watch the lives because they're recorded live at amina.media. So go ahead and check those out. Highly recommend them. There'll be some links if this is in like a format where there's links. So look at the links, get those, and go watch them. Now the links might change, so make sure that you do look and see the links here. All right, so as I talked to more and more people, I got more and more comfortable with my own voice and speaking my own truth, because there were so many people that shared their struggles to success, and that really encouraged me to share more of what was going on in my own life. Hence, that's kind of what happened here with this YouTube channel. That's really the basis of this reality show, in a way too, is to make it a format that it's comfortable for you guys and me, that I don't have to like pretend or script or anything else. I'm going to show up and tell you my truth, and you can resonate with my tonality, my voice, my story. Um, so yeah, that's what happened. So as I grew and became a higher level of myself, more self-aware, more really like powerful, and you could say manifestation and mindset, and really discovering that everything that led me down that path was situations that I already lived when I was a child. Things that were very traumatic. I lost my brother when I was 9. I also was molested by the neighbor. I was also, sorry for the trigger warnings, by the way, I should have told you. And I got my best friend at the time got shot by another boy that I knew down the road. So it was a very traumatic time for me. I had friends that were black, and I don't like to put labels even just saying that, but they were darker skin, and my parents at that time were very racist. So they improved definitely, but that's how they were raised. They were raised to be racist, and they were definitely racist. So I couldn't have black friends, even though I had black friends, but I had to keep it a secret. So things like that. I was bullied by the most popular people in school. My best friend backstabbed me, and they basically shoved like other people's homework into my book bag and said that I was stealing other people's homework, which was really weird and bizarre for me. Even that kids can even stoop that low, like they would have to be pretty low themselves to even like do that. But I even felt attacked like by the teachers, because when I would bring it up to the teachers, they were just basically like, just let it go. And then I ended up having a teacher like a year or two after like that initial terrible years, and when I lost like my brother, and all this other stuff was going on, my best friend got shot, where I even had a teacher that, would basically bully me too. Like, he would basically like, well, why can't you do this? Well, why can't you do that? And it would be in front of like the whole class. So, I was really like depressed inside, like, okay, nobody gets me. Nobody understands me. Nobody cares. And I just didn't know how to, I guess, I couldn't use my voice, right? Because you were in school, you can't speak out in school. You have to listen to the teacher. The teacher's like the disciplinary. And there was all these like threats, can you say? Because then you could go to the principal's office, and you can get suspended, then your parents are going to be mad at you, and then you got to deal with that after all this other stuff. So, all through that, I carried that into my teens, where I was very shy and I wanted to be a part of groups, but yet the groups I was like in and with, basically kept falling into that whole like abusive mindset, right? They all wanted to have some kind of control over my thoughts, what I wore, who I hung out with. I mean, even my best friends, I remember my best friend at the time, Krista, she would always be like, so you should wear this, or you should wear this, we're gonna listen to this music, we're gonna watch this show. And I'm just like, okay. But she never asked my opinion or what I wanted to do. And she ended up dating a guy that I clearly liked, and that's fine, whatever. And she liked him too, I guess. But I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a say. I felt like I was just this like this side project of hers. And so, the same thing that happened in my long-term relationship in high school. Like, I was just like a side project to the guy that I was with. I was with him for 3 years. We broke up for a little bit, and then we ended up getting back together. But he was very abusive. So he wanted me to look a certain way. He wanted me to not speak. He wanted me to just like basically be his like trophy person. And again, I was reliving that. And then I relived that again when I moved out of the house, when I found my partner. I fell back into that whole cycle, and hence that played out for a number of years in my life. So, it kept going back into just like holding it all in and saying, okay, well, I have a voice. I love myself. I really respect myself. But if nobody else cares, then it's just the way it is. I'm just going to still be myself. I have my kids. They really don't have an opinion because there's no like outside influences. There's nothing for them to be like, and this is why, or that is why, or because I want more power, or I want more control. I mean, sure, they could have grew up like that, but I don't know. I guess I did something right that they're very respectful. And they let me like talk and rant on sometimes. And I give them the space and tell them that it's okay that they do it too. I'm not overbearing. I'm very like independent driven. So I give them a lot of independence. I expect them to be independent. I expect them to make mistakes. So I've always taught them that from the very beginning, even though we were very little. I've never like tried to impose like tyrant tactics over them. Um, but even though they had that, with my ex, but when it was just me and them, it was more of like a relaxing atmosphere. Sure, there was discipline. Sure, I got mad at certain things. Sure, I probably wasn't the best parent at all times when they were little and everything like that, but I came from a place of caring for their independence, for them to, really use their brain, really think about their actions, really, try to resolve issues, try to be the problem solver, not the person that expects you to solve the problems for them. So, that basically gave me a voice every time that we were out and we got to do stuff. And they gave me that thing that I needed for somebody to listen, that I knew that there was somebody there that supported me because I was their caregiver, right? And it moved on to the whole like what I was doing on my social media. There's no two-way back and forth. So you guys either watch the videos that I put out or you don't. So it strengthened my voice a lot because now I can come to a platform. I can talk all day. And you can just like click off the video. But if you don't, then there's something here that resonated with you and you're happy with it. But if you do, you're not offending me because I am putting my voice out there for those that want to hear it. And it's not about the likes, the clicks, the whatever. It's about me just being me and showing up. So people have really resonated with that and my message on just putting yourself out there, showing up, being authentic, being you and not worrying so much about everything else. Like really just becoming one with the source, you can say, or just believing in God and God's path, you can say. But really just is a higher consciousness of yourself. What do you want to see for yourself? Who do you want to show up as? And just really honoring who you are and loving yourself. So again, that is the whole reason that, I do everything I do is to encourage others. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and make sure that you subscribe and like and even comment below what's one thing out of here, at least there's probably a bunch, I would hope, that really inspired you to show up for yourself more authentically. And you can even say what really even inspired you in this video to do something that you never thought that you would do for yourself and that you're going to now go do. Or something like the lines of, okay, once this video is over, what are you promising yourself to show up for? Or even like, once this video is over, make sure that you do a live on your own page. And on Facebook, on YouTube, or on TikTok, or wherever. Have fun with it. Show up, because people want to see you. They don't want to just read a bunch of text and not really get to know you. And social media is flawed in that way, but we're coming through it and we're using more and more video and our own voices. So show up as you. You're really going to stand out and your message is very powerful. So I'm going to end it like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's encouraged you to use your own voice, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.